What's up, guys? We are here today with the winner of Survivor LU Genesis, Nathan. We're going to dive deep into Nathan's game, talk about his strategy, what his thoughts were at different points in the season. So, Nathan, tell us how you're doing, how are you feeling? Finally, the world knows you are the first winner of Survivor LU, man.
Oh man, I'm doing well. It's surreal. It's been about a year and a half now since all that
Yeah,
happened. So a lot's changed, but doing well. Just wrapped my sophomore year. I was a freshman, of course, in the film. So just wrapped up sophomore year. Back home for the summer and doing great. It's been really
there
fun
you
to
go.
watch the season and see all the interviews and so on to see how everyone else is doing as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I love that. Well, hey, man, let's get right into it. I would love for you to just dive into you have been casted, you know you're going on the season. What was your initial strategy coming into the game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say I was a super fan when I applied, but I was a very recent super fan. I'd only watched the all the shows in the past like 2 years from when I
Yeah,
applied. So I was very new to the game of Survivor, like overall, but I think I'd watched so much, I'd studied the game so much and seen so many winners that
yeah,
I felt confident. And so when I applied, I thought I did terrible in my application, but it worked out that I got casted. So that was
exactly.
thrilling. I just remember opening that acceptance email and being like, "Oh my goodness, I somehow made it on here." So
Yeah,
as soon as I read that, I started forming those. What do I want to do with this though? Like, how do you come off as a fan of the show and not put either immediate target on your back or just look very prideful? So
hmm
I just first thing I knew I wanted to do was find somebody that I could just connect with instantly because I feel like people that are first boots initially, usually it's just because they don't mix well with the rest of the tribe. It's not even like they
yep,
do something stupid in the game. It's just they don't vibe basically.
yeah,
So I really wanted to find that initially. That was the very first thing I wanted to do, and I got lucky with that with Luke, but which we'll get into later, I'm assuming. But
yeah,
yeah, I just wanted to find somebody, and I didn't want to come off too strong. Like, you don't want to be the leader ever. I feel like that's one of like the three rules, or how many rules of Survivor there are. Just don't come off as that leader that is going to tell people what to do, because people hate
yeah,
that. So I knew I didn't want to do that. And then I knew I just wanted to kind of stay in the background. I really did not want to come out and be like, oh, I've watched all the shows and I know what's going on all the time. No, I just want to like take a deep breath, just analyze people, listen to what they have to say here for the first night. And of course, I knew I wanted to connect with at least one person. Obviously, the more people you can genuinely connect with, the better
hmm
you fare later in the game. But that was kind of my initial, just find somebody and take it slow, listen
yeah.
more than you speak, and just go from there, really.
I love that. So you are casted, you form that initial strategy, and the day comes, Survivor LU Genesis begins. I know you were one of the early people there. What were your first impressions as you just met your tribe mates, and then we really got into the game very quickly?
Yeah, it's so funny to just look back because I just remember being so nervous on that walk up. Like Garrett said, it was like the first walk of Bachelor. It felt like that. Like, it's very nerve wracking just because, of course, it's just a college game, but Survivor
Yeah,
is so personal. It's just such a deep game that's why it's one of my favorite. Like, you can't just play it. You really got
yeah,
to get to know people. So I was nervous for sure. But once I get there, I felt much better. First person, like you said, I got there earlier. I wasn't the first person, but I met David. I think David was our first, and so I met
hmm
him. And obviously, we had been divided by tribes by the colors of our shirts. So I immediately, of course, gravitated towards David since he was on my tribe. So yeah, it was really cool. Just I shook hands with him. I actually got a pretty good vibe from David right off the bat. I know Ben said he did not, but I did. He seemed
yeah,
like somebody that would just kind of listen and do whatever. Because I know that in the small talk, because I asked most people that first night if they'd watched the actual show,
yeah,
and I think he said he had not. So that's always honestly a pretty good sign, in my opinion. Just because if they don't know the actual show, odds are they're not going to know how to play it. So
yeah,
um,
exactly.
um, so it was a pretty good vibe from David, and then Luke came in, and I got a great vibe from Luke. Instantly, when we shook hands, I was like, "All righty, this could be that guy I was looking for." Like, I just felt really good vibes from Luke, and then all the rest were. I didn't get a bad feeling from anyone. I honestly didn't, which I was very surprised about. Usually I feel like
Hmm.
there's one person that kind of rubs you the wrong way, but not for me that first night, at least. Everyone seemed like they were competitors. They were here to play. They cared about the game, which is huge. So I think Ben was the most outspoken, but I got good vibes from him too. So
Yeah.
going into it, I was very happy. While on the other side, I don't know. I guess partially because we're on separate tribes, but I felt like I really liked the people on our tribe more than I liked the people on their tribe. So
Yeah.
I think that honestly worked out very well when it came to that regard of meeting people. So
No, yeah. Hey, you got lucky with the a good tribe formation, but the good vibes didn't last very long. We introduced the twist, and of course, two people on your tribe take it. Whenever the twist was introduced, did you ever have the inclination of taking it? Was it always no, tribe first? Kind of what was your thought process through that?
Yeah. I definitely thought about it because I throughout the entire game, I never just made a decision instantly and locked it down, so I
Hmm.
would never open myself up to thinking about it because I feel like that's just dumb. Even though it might sound really stupid, if you analyze it, it could be smarter than you think. So
Yeah.
I didn't lock it down when I heard about it. I thought about it as you guys were explaining it, and I think I went pretty close to last to go pick. So I had some pretty good time to think about it. And the more I thought about it, the more it was just way too risky.
Hmm.
First off, if nobody else takes it, if there's only one of us, then I just didn't want to risk anything.
Yeah.
Um, they looking back now, I know that two people had taken it. I probably would have because
Hmm.
two can take it, three can. So
Yeah.
I would have considered it, but at the time, I just didn't want to risk anything. I was pretty confident it would be a clue to an immunity idol. I just
Hmm.
couldn't imagine you guys doing anything super crazy on that first night. So I didn't think an immunity idol clue would be worth potentially ruining the game if
Yeah.
you mess up, you slip, you say one sentence wrong about I took it, then you're immediate vote out. So because everyone was very angry that first week that two people took it.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
um, I definitely thought about it, but I knew once I got up there, I was not going to do it.
Who were your initial guesses as to who took it?
I was very confident that David took it just because the way he was talking was just funny. Um, it was just he wasn't a great liar in that regard. Just the way he was talking, I was pretty confident he took it, which didn't
Yeah.
really concern me. Just because he said he didn't know the game very well. So I mean, I was probably very naive because even people that don't know the game well, an immunity idol is obviously a ton of power. So if he had found
Hmm.
it, it would have been a huge deal. But I that didn't really concern me. And then I was pretty convinced Megan Harvey took it. I don't
Yeah.
know why I thought that. I think it's just because she came off as very much here to play and will do what it
Yeah.
takes to win. That I kind of I guess thought that she would have taken it initially.
Hmm.
Ben did not cross my mind
Yeah.
initially just because of the way he was talking. You know, he mentioned the Bible verse, so I was like, oh, he didn't take it.
Yeah.
So it was. I think it was Megan and David were my two. I was like, oh, I think they took it.
For sure. Well, hey, you had a correct reasoning to not be concerned about David. He had no idea that was even a idol clue. So hey, you were clear on that one. But right after the twist, of course, you guys lose the challenge, and you go on to lose many challenges as Gihan, that's original Gihan. But alliance forms super quickly. We talked about it with Ben. Just that Gihan 5 forms. What was your thought process as that began to form? And then really, where did you see yourself within that 5-person alliance?
Yeah, that was very. It wasn't meant like that. That Gihan 5 was not made that like it wasn't planned. It
Yeah.
came because David left first because he was off campus. He had to go, and then Addie, Grace, and Megan just left like pretty quickly, probably within 45 minutes of that first tribe meeting. They left.
Hmm.
And she left 5, and Ben I think was the first person. I think it showed in the episode that said, "Hey, 5, here we go. That's the majority."
Yeah.
So I was all for it. I mean, if you're ever in the majority, of course you're going to be happy. So it just really kind of fell into my lap, and I felt like it would
Yeah.
have been very dumb to go to Luke or anyone and say, "I don't want to do this." Like it's
Yeah.
5, it's the beginning of the game, you take it. So I felt good about it right off the bat. Obviously, though, in every alliance, you have to start thinking about if you have to turn on each other, where are you going to go?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when Luke and Liz, very quickly, we just made that 3 and 5 that first
Yeah.
night. That was kind of impromptu as well. We just said, hey, we like each other. We're in the line here. Why not lock it down? And so, so after that happened, I felt good. I mean, once again, another rule in my personal playbook is you can never get cocky. Like if you ever say, I'm not going home tonight, unless you
Yeah.
have a lockdown immunity, you're playing dumb, because the game can change in 10 seconds, literally.
Absolutely.
So I felt good, like I was confident, but I was still very, very leery. Like I knew that this could go wrong easily if I say the wrong thing or if I come off the wrong way. Um, I felt good that first night. I was like, okay, I think I got something here, something I can work with. But I was still nervous, like, because you never know. I mean, although Liz and Luke said that they wanted to do this, how do I know they didn't go to Ben? How do I know they didn't go to Alexa?
Mm-hmm.
I was a little nervous, but overall, I felt good in the 5. Um, I wouldn't say I was the head or I felt like I was the guy calling the shots by any means, which is not what I wanted. So it worked out.
Yeah.
But I did feel good about that 5 just because of the way it worked out, and I think all of us kind of liked the way it felt. I think that's a big part of forming alliances. Like, do you genuinely feel like you can work with these people long term?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it just kind of fell in the way it did, and I was happy with it. So.
Yeah, and it worked. I would love to know. You're saying, hey, like I wasn't completely comfortable. What were the things maybe that we didn't get to see in the episodes that you were doing behind the scenes to make sure that you did feel good about that positioning that you were working on, the work that you put in that we maybe didn't see?
hmm Yeah, so I was very nervous about Ben initially starting the game, just because he's very extroverted at that first night, and he's very talkative. So I really wanted to lock that down. So I met with him that first week. I don't know if it was shown in the episode or not. I can't remember. I don't think it
Mm-hmm.
was. But we met and we talked for at least an hour, I felt like. I mean, it wasn't all game. It was just more
Yeah.
getting to know each other, which is very important. Um, so that initial meeting with Ben, I think, was very, very important because
Mm-hmm.
trust came from that. And Ben was, like I said, not in that initial 3. So having him as a backup plan, if for some reason Liz or Luke got nervous and backed out, was
Yeah.
very, very helpful. It was almost like I have someone else in case something goes wrong. I remember me and Ben met up the week of Megan and Addie Grace, saying after the second week, saying, "Hey, we can flip the game if we jump to their side," because they were willing to take anything. Like we
Yeah.
kind of, I think I remember saying, "I think we're technically the swing votes here if we want to be crazy." And so meeting with Ben, I think, was very instrumental to long-term gameplay. I think it helped a lot at the end of the game. And then me and Luke texted and called each other a lot. That just you
Yeah.
can't get in an episode. We were in constant communication with each other. We shared a whole lot. And same with Liz, honestly. I texted her a good amount. Alexa was one of the 5 that I wasn't as connected with initially
Mm-hmm.
starting the game. Obviously, when we had the 3 tribes, I had to be much more in
Sure.
communication with her. But so I just think I really kind of spread out, just trying to talk to these people as much as I can, and not even just about the game, just about life in general, because I think
Yeah.
that's a very easy way to connect with people. They just like talking. So I think just constantly, not constantly, but just trying to make genuine connections with them. It's hard to get that through an episode.
Yeah. For sure.
So I think that was my top move when it came to under the radar. Just and I think it worked out. I mean, as far as I know, none of them really wanted to turn on me except for Alexa, maybe after the merge.
Yeah.
But other than that, as far as I know, I wasn't on their radar. So I think that
Okay.
worked out.
Exactly. I don't know if you were on anyone's radar the whole entire game, Nathan. So that's why we're talking to you right now as the winner. But yeah, we have that confessional where you and Luke are sitting together. I mean, that first week,
Mhm.
and you're talking. Luke is like, we have a 3-person alliance with Ben and
Yep.
Liz and Alexa. So you and Luke did everything together really early on. But like you said, you were never the guy calling the shots. You were kind of that second in command with
Mhm.
a shield right in front of you and Luke. and you were really setting up that merge where you were able to be much more flexible. So we'll get into that, of course. But the next step of the game is really going to that tribe swap. So you see the breakdown of tribes. You see that, hey, 2 Gihon, 2 tigers on my tribe, 2 Gihon, 2 tigers on the tribe of Luke, Liz, Megan, and Dawson. And then you see Ben all by himself with 3 tigers. What were your first impressions when you saw that breakdown?
Oh man, I truly think that was the absolute best case scenario overall. Like looking back, I think that was the perfect way the tribes could have gone. I wouldn't have changed it any other way. At the time, I might have put myself in the majority just to make sure I last back, but I think that would have been dumb because we still could have been in big trouble. So it worked out so perfectly. I think that was one of the 2 moments of the game that were just extremely lucky in favor of me. Of course, that and the rock draw. Both of those, if either of those go any other way, I don't think I win at all. I think Gihon's probably obliterated and someone from Tigers pulls it out.
For sure.
So the way that worked out was perfect in regards that it was even on all tribes except for Ben. And at the time I was nervous about Ben because we had just thrown that vote on him. So we knew he was probably relatively annoyed or angry at us because he was the one to go. Like it kind of proved Ben is 5 out of our 5. So I think that him being alone was perfect because if he's with, if Liz is alone or Alexis is alone, he could have turned on us. I don't know if he would have. I've never actually asked him that, but it worked out perfectly that he was on his own. So if he gets voted out, obviously we're in the minority, which is terrible, but he won't, we know he wouldn't, us 4 wouldn't turn on each other. We knew that while we were a little leery of Ben. So, it worked out so perfectly. And then of course he won immunity. So it worked out even better. Obviously 4 people tribes are very hard to communicate with because either someone flips or you go to rocks. Like that's the 2 options. So I was still nervous, but I knew I could work with them. I felt like it would have been really interesting if those idols had not been found. I don't know what would have happened. I wouldn't have gone to rocks for Alexa, but who knows? So it really did work out perfectly. And it worked out perfectly that Luke got all 3 clues. It worked out perfectly that Liz found one of the idols. It was a kind of just everything fell in the way it could have perfectly for me. I know for others it didn't, but it was crazy. I just remember thinking back, like even now, it's just I can't believe all that happened the way it did.
Yeah, literally a perfect scenario happened for you, and even Luke. I mean, it was a great scenario for Luke. It built up his resume, but it also put a giant target on his back where you got to reap the benefits of his move, but you didn't have to have the target that it added. So that was definitely a great little stint of luck for you in that Gihon Alliance. And then you guys get another one at the merge with the rock draw. Walk me through just your thoughts throughout that week. I talked with Ben. You guys threw everything at the wall trying to get someone to flip. No one flipped. You went into there all tied up, but you end up receiving the votes. Were you expecting that, or was that something that would completely caught you by surprise?
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I felt like someone had told me I think Luke had told me they were going to put the votes on Alexa, so that's what I was expecting going in. So I was quite surprised. I was at the time I was of course nervous. You never want to see your name come up, but I was very confident that our 5 was not going to flip. So it actually did make me happy because I knew even if we lose this rock draw, I'm safe. At least I can work with, like, I'm still in the game. So like that was a huge moment. I was surprised though. Like I wasn't expecting them to put my name down. I guess partially because I thought they wanted me gone, but also just because I don't know. I guess I didn't get my mind ready for that scenario. But when I didn't know nobody turned, of course I was happy because that makes myself new. But yeah, that week was crazy. It was so frustrating because me and Luke spent, I'd say 10 plus hours trying to figure out some way we could get someone to turn. We of course made up that plan where we wanted Liz, Ben, and Alexa act like they flipped to take us out and to do that 4-3-3, I think it was. But that completely died early on in the game. So early on in the week, I mean. So we literally had no option except for this fake idol Hail Mary on Ellie, which
Yeah.
I think she considered, but then of course she said no. So it was so frustrating because I knew that we probably aren't going to come out on top on this. Like the odds are not in our favor here. It's, I think, what was it, 58, 40, something, 48, 42, something
With
like that.
Dawson having immunity, yeah.
Yeah, with us having to, yep. So I wasn't confident, but I knew it's the only way we can maybe send one of them home. So, but it was once again that second part of the game that it's just worked out the way it did with Ellie taking
Yeah.
it. I think if any other Tigress takes it, I don't think I would have won. Like it's just it's wild to think about just the way it turned out. So
No, yeah, for
got
sure.
lucky
Yeah, we, I
again.
mean, we talked. Me and Ben talked about that. Just if Tigress wins the rock draw, probably Tigress wins the game.
Sure.
You guys won the rock draw, and a Gihan win the game. And other than Nicole, at the end, it really was Gihan stacked
Mhm.
compared to how it probably would have been. So not only did you win, they had a lot of other Gihans that could have won
Mhm.
at the end of the game because of that pivotal rock draw, and you guys really sticking tight. Um, at that point, merge time, uh, we see you pretty much just in the middle of everything. So we have Luke over here who's really making good connections with MJ Dawson. We have Ben over here who's really making good connections with Nicole and Nate. Alexa and Liz kind of just floating wherever you or Ben kind of go and stuff like that. Mainly, Liz definitely following kind of in your footsteps, but we see you right in the center. So you're having a conversation with this freshman alliance. You have a conversation with Nate and Nicole. How
Mhm.
did you kind of find yourself, if not maybe just as a by accident, in that spot where you really could determine where the game goes?
Hmm. Yeah, the freshman alliance came about. I believe man, it's so long ago. I can't remember who initiated it. I think it was me and Luke that said
Yeah.
we wanted to reach out to Dawson and MJ and see where their heads are at. Because I knew that MJ was very smart. She was very nice. She was very
Hmm.
sweet from the week prior.
Yeah.
So I think we initiated that, and it was just like the episode showed. Like we just had a great time. We were laughing. It was just really fun.
Hmm.
So that just kind of came into place just because we wanted to talk to them more too. So that one I think was planned. The other side with Nicole, Ben, Liz, Nate, that was asked. Like I was approached for that one. I believe Nate is the one that kind of spearheaded that, and he just asked if I wanted to join. I was like, sure, because of course I'm not going to say no to talking game with, and there's only 9 people left.
Yeah.
So I said yes, and I talked to them. That just didn't really ever take off. I think it was an idea that was pretty smart. It could have worked very well in
Hmm.
my favor, but it was still risky because I think they still want to vote out a Gihan that week. I can't remember though. So it just both of those were just kind of all because of the early pre-merge where I just come connected with people. And so it was yeah, it was weird thinking back. At the time I didn't really think that, oh my goodness, I'm talking to everyone in the game, because that's very risky. I mean, people compare notes all the time. They say this guy's talking to everyone, they want to get rid
Yeah.
of you. So I didn't think of that at the time though. I just thought, hey, I've got a meeting tomorrow, I'm going to go to it.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was weird to think about. I was really talking with everyone in the game that week, and I could approach anyone in the game, maybe besides Nate and Nicole, just because they were the two I just didn't know super well. But everyone else I felt very comfortable on talking with. So yeah, it's weird to think about how I was kind of in the middle of everything, but I think that was all because of just connections I made on the pre-merge now that Gihan had the majority.
Yeah, for sure. So we see you and Luke not side with that freshman alliance, take out MJ. What was the deciding factor in not taking that path and instead taking the kind of Nicole Nate path instead? Because I mean, I believe that if you and Luke go to Liz and Alexa and say, "Hey, we're taking out Nate," I think you guys definitely can pull that off. So you really could have went either way.
Hmm. Yeah, we strongly considered it, because I think that meeting was on Monday night, and we had tribal on Tuesdays. I think that meeting was on Monday night, so it was a last second thing. It might not have been.
Hmm.
I can't remember, but it was relatively late in the week.
Yeah.
And after we had that meeting, me and Luke were saying, we're in on this. This is what we're doing. I don't even know. I don't think we planned to tell Liz or Alexa either, which would have been really bad. We would have been in huge trouble because we would have been a minority. We would have blindsided them. Then we would have been a minority. So that would have been really bad looking back on it. But we were very set on it. We were like, hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna flip the game right here. Prussian Alliance, this, that, and the other. Of course, we it wasn't tribal that night, so we slept on it, and then I woke up that morning and I was like, no, we cannot do this. This is stupid. We're aligning with the two probably best players in the game. Why would we do this and then get all voted out? Like, it would not work. And so I thought that when I woke up that morning, I woke up to that. And I called Luke. I was like, Luke, we can't do this. And he was like, you're right. We can't do this. So just like that, it was out the window. I think it's partially the main reason. One was because we're flipping on Liz, Ben, and Alexa. They would have just voted us out, I feel like. Nate and Nicole were not as in the game, so all in the game. I felt like as smart as Dawson and MJ. Dawson and MJ were very likable people from the game standpoint, at least from Luke's standpoint. So we knew that if they get far, they have a pretty dang good shot at pulling it out. So, and me and Luke didn't know Nate and Nicole nearly as well, so might as well go to the side of people we don't know as well to vote out the people we know are good and will probably win if they make it to the end. So that's just what we decided to go with that day, and I think it was the right move. I think I absolutely would have been voted out had we had gone with that. So it was a strong consideration, though. We were close to doing it.
Yeah, I think you definitely made the right move. I think Luke was the one who made the fatal mistake. I think if he pulls over enough votes to side with the Freshman Alliance, I think Luke increases his chances of winning 20-fold. Whereas taking the side of Nicole and Nate and taking out MJ, of course, burns that bridge between Dawson and Luke, but also just really isolates Luke to where you are his only connection really left in the game, or him, maybe you and Alexa, as Liz and Ben really start to shift. Ben especially starts to shift over to this Nicole side with you still connected as well. So we really see that just web where everyone's connecting through Nathan Bennett. But so we continue on through the game. Dawson's taken out. And then Ben really becomes that big threat. You win an immunity. I would love for you to just talk about kind of what it was like to win an immunity challenge.
Yeah, it was amazing. I definitely did not think I was going to pull one out after I started seeing what they were like. Going into the game, I thought, oh, I'm pretty athletic. I might do well. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I'm so out of shape. I'm terrible. I was not confident at any point in post-merge that I was going to win one, just because they were very either endurance-based or which is very bit off the show. So I don't know why I thought I could win one going in. But so when I saw that it was more more knowledge-based, I felt good about that instantly, just because I feel like that is one thing that I might be okay at when it comes to challenges. It was awesome. The question just fell the way they need to. And once again, I got lucky because the question that you asked about which famous Survivor player had solved this puzzle, I couldn't find Spencer. And I knew the answer. I just couldn't find him out there. And everyone else instantly ran and was like, oh, that's it. Game over. Yeah. I'm not going to win this one either. And Alexa just luckily got it wrong. And so I kept going and I pulled it out. So it was super thrilling to win. You know, it's kind of like the dream, like everyone says in the actual show. And it was a big immunity. I mean, absolutely. Final 5. So I felt very, very happy. It was kind of a surreal moment. I pulled it out. So I was very thrilled to do one thing, and it looks good on a resume. Saying that you at least won one immunity shows that you at least outplayed at least once. So that felt really good.
There you go. So we have the infamous Ben fake idol play. We see some really great confessionals from you after the fact of just, I feel so stupid. I should have known he wasn't going to play it. And then when it's fake, you also realize that. And I think that's what is awesome about you, is that even though It's very hurt, like a hit to your pride to say, man, I was stupid. I should have known that. I'm terrible in fast decisions. You admitted that and you recognized that flaw in your game. Tell me just kind of that entire just 2 weeks, just your mindset and just kind of just the way that Ben was really just like inflating as this giant target.
Hmm. Yeah. So going into that vote, which was the final six vote, um, I felt like I could still beat Ben at that time. I was like,
Hmm.
has he had a great outplay? Yes, like a fantastic, like he did, those crazy immunities and he pulled them out. But
Yeah.
I felt very confident that I could beat him just because I really felt like I'd done outwitting way better than him at the time.
Yeah.
But still at the end of the day, he's just a very likable person. He's very funny. So that's a threat instantly. Likability is such a big factor of the game. So that, and Liz and Alexa were very dead set on taking him out. Like they wanted
Hmm.
him gone, especially Alexa, as we see in the episode. She wanted him gone. So I wasn't going to go against them. So I was just going to say, all right, I'll do it, because if that final six happens, I still feel very confident I can win against almost anyone left in the game. So I
Yeah.
was willing to do it. Um, so the plan that night was to take Ben out. He's gone. Of course, he then does his crazy thing. It's funny that hearing people say his hands were violently shaking, because I didn't even notice it. It's very
Yeah.
interesting when you're in that moment. You just don't notice those things like that. Or at least I don't. So he pulls it out. It was chaos, just because it was like the live trial from the actual show. Like, what do we do? This, that, and the other. Alexa told me at one point, give me your immunity necklace. It's like, no, I will never do that. So she did want to. She did want to split. Alexa did want to split at that tribal council. I
Hmm.
can't remember why we didn't. I think it was just because of the chaos, and we said might as well just take out Nate,
Yeah.
because we know we can get the votes on him, and we want to make sure that, I don't know. It's just Nate was the name that came up. Um, so it was chaos, and definitely should have split. If we split, Ben goes, but it didn't work out that way. But then again, I was so confident it was real. I was so confident he was going to play it that night,
Hmm.
which was very silly. It was very naive. Of course he doesn't play it, and so then I'm like, oh my goodness, his threat level has gone up a whole nother tier now, because not only is he a
Yeah.
very likable person, he's good at challenges, he just pulled off a big strategic move. And then of course when I learned, but then I still thought it was real. I was convinced it was real. So then the next tribal council, it turns out it's fake. I was like, he goes up another tier. So I knew that if Ben, or at least at the time, I thought if Ben gets to the end, that's game over. He wins.
Yeah.
So his threat level, as you said, increased so much through those two tribal councils, and it was a great move. And I think if it's almost any other person left in the game, I don't think Luke would have bought it. Maybe, I don't know. Dawson would not have bought it. Like, there's people that
Yeah.
are on that jury that don't buy it. They would vote him
Yeah.
out anyway, or they tried to. So he got lucky, I think, with people that left in the game. But yeah, it was an amazing move, and I just remember thinking, oh no, this is not good, because at the time I felt like I was in a very good spot.
Yeah.
The week I was immune, I really felt like I felt the best in the game so
Absolutely.
far. Like, I felt like I was in a very good position. I knew I wasn't going home. And then of course all that happens, and I go completely drop. Like, that's the funny thing about Survivor. You can feel amazing one week or one day, and literally the next
Yeah.
day you
When,
feel
yeah, in the course of hours, really. I mean,
literally. Yep.
you go into that challenge, or go into that tribal, you think Ben's gone, and Ben's really the only thing that is kind of testing you, even. Like,
Hmm.
it would have, at that point, with if Ben didn't pull that off and he just kept going the way he was, it would have been, I think, close between you, just the social connections
Hmm.
that are sitting at the end, and kind of who that third person was sitting next to you.
Hmm.
Uh, so, I mean, at that point, you thought he's gone. I really have, as long as I can avoid Alexa trying to come for me next.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, you were sitting pretty, and then
Hmm.
within hours, and of course, if you haven't watched me and Ben's talk, definitely I encourage you to go do
Hmm.
so. We talk about just the crafting of that perfect lie, playing off of the advantage of just shock and just the moment. And he planned it perfectly to be able to work, and it did,
Hmm.
even against great players who otherwise didn't see it. So we get through that point. Ben gets it to those 2 weeks. Alexa goes there at Final Five, and you have a Final Four of you, Liz, Ben, and Nicole. Tell me about the Sparky Challenge, and then just kind of the infamous moment of Ben moving his hand, being out, and just kind of what hit you right there at that moment, knowing that he was not going to be sitting in the final three.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, I knew it was probably gonna be endurance, just because final travel challenges are usually
Mm-hmm.
not final challenges are usually endurance based. So I
Yeah.
felt like it was gonna be that. And then you guys had told us to dress for cold weather, but for some reason I didn't even think about it being Borneo's, of course, infamous challenge. So I didn't
Yeah.
even consider that. But of course, when I learned about it, I was like, "Oh boy, this could go a long time." And I didn't bring gloves, which is too bad because those would have been very helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but I was, of course, it was so exciting to participate in something like that, just because it's so infamous and it's so history rich. I was very excited about it, but I knew it was going to be pretty dang miserable because it was cold.
Yeah.
But I was willing literally to go as long as it possibly could. If those incentives have not been added, I really think we might have been out there for 10 hours. Like if we hadn't had to have those incentives, I could have still gone for, I think, a
Yeah.
pretty dang long time. So
Absolutely.
um so it was exciting to participate in it. And then of course Ben goes out first, and I was, oh man, that was, what a moment. I didn't see it. I remember that. I think I was looking down when it happened, and then I
Mm-hmm.
think I think it was you or it was Derek that said Ben's out. He moved his hand off, and it was just so quick. It
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness, and just dropped just like that. And so I was very sad for him because what a sucky way to go
Sad
out
to
on the
go to go
final
out. Yeah.
challenge. Just 1 second slip of the mind and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that had been going on for 3 hours. Like, it wasn't like he did that instantly. He fought for that spot. So it was very sad to see. But on the other side, I was like, this is probably the ticket to winning the game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they take me out over Ben, who had, if Ben hadn't done his crazy idle place and he still had gotten to the four, it might
Mm-hmm.
have been a deliberation: do we take Ben out or do we take Nathan out? But he was obviously the biggest threat to to Nicole and Liz, I feel like. So I was very, very happy that he went out, not I was totally in the game. Like, I was happy that he went out for my personal selfish game, but I was also very sad because
Yeah.
it's really sucky to go out that way, especially after you fought for so long. Um,
Absolutely.
so it was another one of those kind of surreal moments. But I still wanted to win. Like, I really wanted to punch my ticket because that just looks
Mm-hmm.
really good on your resume. But of course, that didn't work out the way I would have hoped. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy challenge, and selfishly, I was very glad that Ben went out, but I was also very sad for him. So.
At that moment when Ben is out, do you think in your head, "Hey, I just won the game," or is it still kind of a toss up in your head?
I guess you could say that I was very confident. I was going to win at that point, but once again, I just never secured anything down. I never locked it down. I was going to vote him out. I never locked it down. I was going to win. But I did feel like that was my highest probability. Just happened. It just
Mm-hmm.
happened when I needed it to. Because I said that, I think, on the 2 weeks prior. I was like, if this happens, and then Ben goes home, I win the game. I think that was shown. Um, so I was like, this is probably my best chance at winning, just actually happened.
Yeah.
But I didn't lock anything down. I didn't say he's instantly going home. I'm not going to consider anything else. But of course, I just felt like that would have been the most logical decision. Turns out it was. But I did consider it. I just did consider making Ben fight for it. And if he loses the tiebreaker, then I definitely win. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a moment of, this could be what I needed to have happened.
Absolutely. So you said that you weren't convinced yet that you are going to win, but going into Final Tribal Council, hearing the jury's questioning to you, Liz and Nicole, what were you thinking throughout that Final Tribal Council, and did it make you feel more confident that you were going to win, or maybe even less? What were the ups and downs of just Final Tribal?
Yeah, for sure. Going in, I was definitely more confident. Like I felt like this is definitely the way I need things to be. Like I feel like I had the best chance against these
Yeah.
two people. So going in, I felt like I'd get some votes for sure. Like I was very confident about Luke. I was very confident about Ben. I was relatively confident about Dawson and MJ. That's all I needed. So going in, I felt confident. But I remember trying to like make up an opening statement. And I was like, this is stupid. I just remember saying things like, why would I ever say that in an opening statement? So that's why I was like, okay, screw all this. I'm just going to kind of improv it basically. Just
Yeah.
say what I truly felt, make sure everything is honest. I think that's the biggest part of Final Tribal is you can't say anything deceitful. Like everything's got to be the way it actually happened.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it worked out with the opening speech. I feel like I made a relatively good opening speech. It's kind of long, but I was kind of happy with the way I kind of went through my entire game and the way it
Yeah.
worked out. And also how the jury very much so influenced everything that happened because everyone on the jury was a great player, and I still believe that. A lot of
Hmm.
seasons of Survivor, there's a jury member on there. It's like, how did you get this far? You're not a good player. You made it this far. But I think everyone on the jury was a good player. Like they all
Absolutely.
knew how to play the game. So, the opening speech I think went the way honestly about as good as it could have. I felt like. And then the questioning, I wasn't sure how it was going to go whatsoever. Ellie opening it up saying, people in the jury have played better than you guys. I was like, oh no, I'm in for a battle with these guys because they're going to all ask questions like this. But it was
Right.
actually her. So, and she was the person I obviously was not connected with at all. I never talked to her in the game whatsoever. So I was nervous after her questioning, but then every person honestly got better and better and better. Like nobody after that was, um, confrontational or anything like that.
Hmm.
Luke's question was scary because that's the one I didn't want him to ask. Of course, he asked it, but I still felt confident after I gave that answer because I think he respected that answer. Dawson, I felt very happy about because I was still a little nervous that he would be annoyed that I backstabbed him 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
But he seemed like he wasn't at all. He was not annoyed by it. I think he said he played a great game. And then Ben, of course, was huge. He basically said, I'm voting for you, and here's why. So after all the questions had been asked, I felt even better. I didn't rule anything out because I was pretty confident Nate was going to vote for Nicole. So there's one vote for
Yeah.
her right off the bat. That leaves only 6 people left. I thought Ellie might vote for Nicole potentially just because they've been on Tigress and I didn't know her. So I did feel like though I had almost four. I felt I guess you could say I had those 4 votes locked pretty dang well, and I also
Hmm.
knew that Liz probably wasn't going to get any.
Yeah.
Just by the way she answered questions, she came off a little confrontational. I felt like watching it back because I had
Hmm.
forgotten most of Finals Rivals, unfortunately, until I watched it, and I was like, "Dang, Liz
Yeah.
was pretty confrontational about some of these questions that were asked."
Yeah.
Um, so of course it just worked out the way it did, and I got those votes that I felt good about on top of the 2 that I didn't feel good about. So it just kind of worked out the way it was supposed to, I guess.
There you go. And as I reveal the votes, you get enough votes and you're crowned the first sole survivor of Survivor LU. What was the feeling like being a super fan coming in, being kind of uneasy, not knowing if, hey, am I going to be able to succeed at this? Am I going to do, am I even going to make the merge? Not only do you make the merge, but you go on to win. What was it like? Tell us kind of just all the emotions and everything going into that.
Yeah, it was surreal. First off, it's just, I don't know, when something is you've worked so hard for in
Yep.
so suddenly, it's just like, wow, I can't believe this just happened. So it was very surreal first. Then it kind of settled to, wow, I actually I won the game. Like, I can't believe I just did this. Because like you said, I really did not feel confident coming in at all. I think super fans can sometimes be instant threats to people. They say, if they're a super fan, get them out of here. I knew
Yep.
I didn't want to lie about that because if you lie about it and then you slip up, you're definitely gone. Because I love the game so much, I knew I was going to talk to people about it, so I didn't want to lie about it. So it was very surreal. Getting that far, getting to merge was my goal. I just really wanted to be able to vote for a winner. Not expecting to be that winner whatsoever. So just the way it was just very surreal, and then it was really really fun to talk to people. I
Hmm.
still give a ton of credit to a luck in the game. Like I really felt like my game was extremely lucky. Those two votes, those two back-to-back moments, go different in any way. I don't think I pull it out. So, but I guess part of Survivor is working with the luck that comes in your
Exactly.
favor. So,
Yeah.
it was very surreal. It's been a ton of fun to get to talk really detailed about the game with everyone. I'm still in pretty close contact with at least probably 7 or 8 of the players, so I
Yeah.
still talk to them every once in a while about it.
Awesome.
So I made genuine friendships with almost everyone on the jury. So it's been really cool to be able to see them a year belated and know that we went through this experience of Survivor together. Still very happy it worked out the way it did. I'll never forget it. So yeah, a lot of surrealness and a lot of just joy, I guess.
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, no matter who gets there, there was some kind of luck involved.
Mhm.
Uh, Ben would have been lucky to get there because of the same rock draw that you went through.
Mhm.
So luck does play a factor, and it's not really how you capitalize on that luck. 71 days, 16 people. You were the one survivor. Uh, awesome job. I mean, I think you were really a testament. A lot of super fans come in and they struggle in that social environment compared to the strategic, and that is exactly where you excelled, making real relationships where um, a lot of the jury really felt burned by Nicole for not using that idol, and she really didn't keep those relationships up throughout the game. Where you were connecting with MJ and Dawson, you were connecting with everyone so that they felt comfortable with you. Like you said before, you weren't the first in command. You were always the second in command. You were always the second target. You always had that shield in front of you. So kudos to you, Nathan, for playing a great game. Um, Definitely set the pace and set the bar high for future seasons of Survivor LU, which will be coming soon. We're excited to hopefully have season 2, 3, and 4 coming out within the next, who knows, but they're coming. They've been filmed. Nathan was able to be a part of the production team for all 3 of those seasons. So, Nathan, tell us a little bit about just kind of what fans can look forward to with those 3 seasons coming out.
Yeah, it's just as good, I think. Like you just mentioned, we wrapped season 4 about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so 4 is in the books. All 3 seasons have people that want to play, people that are here to play, and people that will do whatever it takes to win. There's some amazing characters coming up. It's awesome to watch. It was really cool to play in a season, pull out the win, and then get to watch everyone else almost just got to do the same thing again. And then,
Yeah.
so somebody else wins, and somebody else wins, somebody else wins. So it's just been really, really cool to watch the game evolve, see how the theming of the new seasons fit in with the cast. It's been really, really cool. There's a lot of really fun moments to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned, hopefully we can get them out as soon as we possibly can.
For sure.
But all 3 seasons have great moments, great players, and so definitely something to look forward to here in the future.
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to it. Uh, at the moment, you can sit on the throne for a little bit longer until the next season comes out. We have the King of Survivor currently, and he's going to sit there as long as he can. Maybe he'll even make sure that they lose some footage so that he can hold that title longer. But
I
I
don't
don't know
know
if he'll
about
I don't know if
that.
he'll sabotage us, Nathan. But Nathan, thanks so much for sitting down and talking to us. Thanks again to everyone who has tuned in this season for the first season of Survivor LU. It's been a blessing to just see this community come together, to see people actually watch and love the content that we put out. We appreciate you guys a ton from production. We just want to thank you from the cast, of course. They thank you, and we look forward to putting out more content in the near future. So we'll see you next time, whenever that might be. But peace, everybody.
Yeah.